Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about the journey of love and the trials it brings. There's a unique kind of pain that comes when someone who claimed to love you begins to act like you no longer exist. That silence, it's deafening, and it leaves you questioning everything. But here's the truth: love that is true does not waver when storms come. If a man loves you deeply, his actions will prove it, not just his words. But when the warmth of his affection suddenly grows cold, don't lose yourself in the frost. This is your moment to pause and reflect. Silence, my friends, is its own language. When someone stops showing up in your life, they are telling you something, even if they're not speaking. Don't run from the message, lean in and listen. Is it fear holding him back? Doubt? Or has his heart moved elsewhere? Whatever the answer, you deserve clarity. Now, let's talk about you. In moments like these, it's easy to feel like the problem lies within you, as if you did something wrong. But hear me, your worth is not tied to someone's decision to stay or walk away. You were valuable before him, and you'll remain valuable without him. But don't ignore the questions this brings. Ask him directly. Look him in the eyes and demand the respect of an honest answer. Is it prideful? No, it's strength. You have every right to understand where you stand. And if he can't give you the dignity of a truthful conversation, then that silence is your answer too. Pain like this isn't meant to break you, it's meant to teach you. It's a refining fire. You'll come out stronger, wiser, and more in tune with what you deserve. Do not fear letting go of someone who cannot or will not fight for you. So if he starts ignoring you, if he loves you deeply but then becomes distant, remember this: love yourself enough to keep moving forward. Don't chase, don't beg, and don't diminish your light trying to illuminate someone who refuses to see. The greatest strength you'll ever show is walking away with your dignity intact. And when you do, you'll find that the world has a way of filling the space he left with someone or something far greater than what you ever imagined. Real love, the kind that truly stands the test of time, is not a fleeting emotion or a momentary spark. It is not something that ebbs and flows without reason. Instead, love manifests as a steady force, showing up day after day, no matter the circumstances. It is rooted in consistency, a foundation that does not crumble when tested by life's inevitable storms. When love is real, it doesn't vanish overnight. If it does, it is often a sign that something deeper is at play, something that deserves careful thought and honest introspection. Love, in its truest form, is an enduring presence. It is the gentle yet powerful reminder that you matter, that you are seen, valued, and cherished. This presence doesn't falter when challenges arise. Rather, it becomes even more steadfast, providing reassurance in moments of doubt. Love isn't simply about the grand gestures or fleeting moments of passion. It's about the quiet consistency, the day-to-day acts of care and commitment that form the backbone of a strong relationship. It's the text in the middle of a busy day, the willingness to listen when you've had a rough time, and the effort to make you feel included, respected, and understood. When love suddenly disappears, it raises questions that must be answered. Relationships are dynamic, and changes are natural, but an abrupt withdrawal of affection or attention is rarely random. It signals that there is a shift, perhaps in priorities, emotions, or circumstances. It may stem from external pressures, internal struggles, or a misalignment in the connection itself. But no matter the cause, such a change warrants exploration. Ignoring the signs or making excuses for the inconsistency only delays the truth and deepens the wound. Consistency in love also reflects emotional maturity. A person who truly loves you understands that their actions carry weight. They recognize that love is not about convenience, it's about showing up even when it's difficult. When someone's affection is inconsistent, it can feel like the ground beneath you is unstable, leaving you second-guessing your worth and the strength of the bond you share. Real love doesn't do that. It provides stability, not uncertainty. It's important to remember that consistency in love is not about perfection. No one is immune to moments of weakness, frustration, or doubt. But even in these moments, real love makes the effort to communicate and repair. It doesn't retreat into silence or indifference. It seeks to bridge gaps, not widen them. When someone loves you genuinely, their actions are guided by a commitment to nurture the relationship, even when things aren't easy. On the other hand, when love vanishes suddenly, it can feel like a betrayal. It leaves you questioning everything. Was it real? Did I miss the signs? Is this my fault? These are natural questions, but the answers often lie in understanding the nature of the other person's feelings and capacity for love. Sometimes people enter relationships with good intentions but lack the emotional resilience or clarity to sustain them. Their love may have been genuine at first, but without consistency, it struggles to endure. This doesn't necessarily mean you are unworthy of love. It simply means they were not equipped to offer the kind of love you deserve. The vanishing of love can also reveal deeper issues within the relationship. Was there unspoken resentment, unmet expectations, or a lack of alignment in long-term goals? These undercurrents often remain hidden until a breaking point is reached. The sudden disappearance of affection, while painful, can serve as an opportunity to uncover and address these issues. It forces you to confront the truth, however uncomfortable it may be, and decide what is best for your well-being. Love that is consistent provides a sense of safety. It tells you that you are valued for who you are, not just for what you bring to the table in fleeting moments. It's not transactional or conditional, it's steady and enduring. When this consistency is missing, it's a clear signal to evaluate the relationship. Sometimes, this means having difficult conversations to seek clarity and understanding. Other times, it means recognizing that the love you thought was unshakable has run its course. True love does not leave you in limbo. It does not make you question your worth or wonder where you stand. It is a constant, unwavering presence, even when circumstances are less than ideal. If love vanishes suddenly, it is a sign to look beyond the surface and understand what lies beneath. Whether it's a momentary struggle or a deeper disconnect, the revelation of inconsistency is an opportunity for growth, self-reflection, and ultimately the pursuit of the kind of love that truly shows up day after day without fail. Silence is one of the most powerful forms of communication, often conveying what words cannot. When someone begins to ignore you, it may feel confusing, even painful, but it is important to recognize that this silence is not empty. It speaks volumes. When actions shift and the connection you once shared seems to waver, the truth starts to emerge, even if it's not being openly discussed. Ignoring you, though indirect, is a form of communication, a message sent without words but with undeniable impact. Human relationships thrive on interaction. We connect, bond, and express care through words, gestures, and consistent effort. When that flow of communication stops or significantly changes, it signals a shift in the dynamics. This shift can be subtle at first, a missed text, a delayed reply, or a lack of engagement in conversations. But as it continues, it grows louder, like an echo that refuses to fade. It is in these moments of silence that the truth begins to surface. Ignoring someone isn't always about cruelty. Sometimes it reflects internal struggles, unspoken feelings, or an avoidance of confrontation. Regardless of the reason, it's important to understand that silence is never neutral. It always carries meaning. When someone chooses to ignore you, they are expressing something, whether consciously or unconsciously. Perhaps they are unsure of how to articulate their feelings or are wrestling with emotions they themselves do not fully understand. Maybe they are overwhelmed, confused, or fearful of addressing an issue directly. Or in some cases, their silence may reveal a lack of interest or investment in the relationship. While the reasons behind the silence may vary, the effect it has on the recipient is often consistent: a sense of uncertainty, hurt, and longing for clarity. Silence can be a tool of avoidance. It allows someone to sidestep difficult conversations or avoid addressing conflicts. However, avoiding communication only delays the inevitable. The unspoken tension builds, creating a chasm that grows wider with time. This gap can feel like rejection, leaving you to fill the silence with assumptions and self-doubt. You might start questioning yourself, wondering if you did something wrong or if you're no longer valued. These thoughts can be emotionally exhausting, but it's crucial to remember that the silence is not about you, it's about the person choosing to withhold communication. On the other hand, silence can also be a reflection of someone's inability to process their emotions. Not everyone is equipped to handle confrontation or articulate their thoughts. For some, withdrawing feels safer than engaging in a vulnerable exchange. While this may explain their behavior, it does not excuse the impact it has on you. Relationships require mutual respect and effort, and silence can undermine the trust and connection that are essential to any bond. When actions change, when the calls stop, the texts become sparse, or the person you care about begins to distance themselves, it's a sign that something has shifted beneath the surface. Silence is rarely random. It's a signal that something needs attention, whether it's an unspoken issue, a change in feelings, or a personal struggle the other person is facing. Ignoring you may not be the healthiest way for them to communicate, but it is still a form of expression that demands your attention. It's important to approach silence with both clarity and self-respect. If someone is ignoring you, resist the urge to chase them or fill the void with endless attempts to reconnect. Instead, take a step back and assess the situation. Ask yourself, what is this silence telling me? Is it revealing a deeper issue in the relationship? Is it showing me that this person is unable or unwilling to provide the communication and connection I deserve? Sometimes the silence is a gift, exposing the truth that words have been concealing. In responding to silence, choose strength and self-awareness over desperation. Seek clarity if you feel it's warranted. Ask the questions that need to be asked. But be prepared for the possibility that the answers may not be what you hope for. Sometimes silence is a sign that it's time to let go, to release the hold you have on someone who is no longer holding on to you. Silence speaks loudly because it forces us to confront reality. It strips away the distractions and highlights what truly matters. While it can be painful, it also provides an opportunity for growth and self-reflection. Ignoring you may be their way of communicating, but how you respond to that silence defines your strength and self-worth. Use it as a chance to realign with what you truly deserve, a connection built on openness, respect, and consistent care. Silence may speak loudly, but your response can speak even louder. Your worth is an intrinsic part of who you are. It is not determined by the opinions, actions, or recognition of others. When someone suddenly stops valuing you or withdraws from a relationship, it can feel like a personal blow. But the truth is, their inability to see your value says more about them than it does about you. Your worth is not tied to their behavior, nor does it diminish because of their lack of recognition. To tether your self-worth to external validation is to hand over control of your sense of self to others, leaving you vulnerable to their whims and insecurities. True self-worth must come from within. It's natural to seek validation. As humans, we are wired to crave connection and approval. Positive reinforcement from those we care about feels good and can affirm our actions or choices. However, problems arise when that external validation becomes the primary source of your self-esteem. If your sense of value hinges entirely on how someone else perceives or treats you, then their sudden withdrawal can shake you to the core. You might find yourself questioning your worth, replaying moments in your mind, wondering what you did wrong or why you are no longer enough for them. These thoughts are painful, but they stem from a fundamental misunderstanding of where true self-worth lies. Your value is not negotiable. It does not fluctuate based on someone's recognition or lack thereof. Just as a diamond remains valuable whether or not it is appreciated by the person holding it, your worth remains intact regardless of how others treat you. People's actions are often a reflection of their own internal struggles, limitations, or changing priorities. Their inability to see your value may have nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own fears, distractions, or misunderstandings. When someone suddenly stops appreciating you, it is easy to fall into the trap of seeking answers from them. You may feel an urge to explain yourself, prove your worth, or convince them to stay. But this is where self-worth becomes a shield. When you know your value, you understand that you do not need to plead for recognition or chase after validation. Instead, you can stand firm in the knowledge that your worth is not diminished by their actions. Their inability to appreciate you does not define you, it defines them. This understanding does not mean ignoring your feelings or pretending not to care. The pain of being undervalued or ignored is real and valid. But even in that pain, it is crucial to remember that your value is not up for debate. You are deserving of love, respect, and appreciation simply because you exist. No one else has the power to take that away from you. Building a strong sense of self-worth requires shifting your focus inward. Instead of looking to others to validate your existence, start recognizing your own strengths, accomplishments, and unique qualities. Celebrate your growth, even if it goes unnoticed by others. Learn to enjoy your own company, pursue your passions, and set boundaries that protect your peace. The more you nurture your sense of self from within, the less dependent you will be on external approval. It's also important to surround yourself with people who uplift and value you. Relationships should be a source of mutual respect and support, not a place where you constantly have to prove your worth. If someone cannot see your value or suddenly withdraws from your life, it is a reflection of their journey, not a measure of your significance. Letting go of those who fail to appreciate you creates space for those who will. There is strength in understanding that your worth is non-negotiable. It allows you to navigate relationships from a place of confidence rather than insecurity. You no longer feel the need to cling to those who fail to see your value or fear losing their approval. Instead, you can walk away with grace, knowing that their recognition or lack thereof has no bearing on your inherent worth. At the heart of self-worth is self-love. Treat yourself with the same kindness, patience, and respect that you seek from others. Trust that your value remains even when others fail to acknowledge it. In doing so, you not only strengthen your sense of self, but also set the standard for how you deserve to be treated. Your worth is not dependent on external validation, it is a reflection of your inner truth. Never forget that. Questions are the gateway to clarity, yet so many of us fear asking them. We hesitate, holding back the words that could lead to understanding, because we dread the answers they might bring. But the truth is, living in a state of emotional limbo is far more draining than confronting the uncertainty that questions aim to resolve. The courage to seek the truth is a form of liberation, freeing us from the confusion and assumptions that keep us bound in mental and emotional turmoil. Many people avoid asking questions because they fear the truth. They worry that the answers might confirm their worst suspicions or force them to confront something they are not ready to face. This avoidance, however, only prolongs the pain. Living in uncertainty often means living in a state of hope mixed with dread. You hold on to the possibility that everything is fine while simultaneously fearing that it is not. This duality is exhausting and unsustainable. Asking the hard questions may be uncomfortable, but it is the only way to break free from this cycle. The act of questioning is not about accusing or demanding, it's about seeking understanding. It's about valuing yourself enough to want clarity and respecting the relationship or situation enough to pursue honesty. When you ask questions, you are showing that you care enough to address the issues directly rather than letting them fester. You are taking responsibility for your emotional well-being by seeking the information you need to make informed decisions. In this way, asking questions is not an act of fear, it is an act of strength. It's important to remember that the answers you receive, even if they are not what you hoped for, are a form of respect. The truth, no matter how difficult, provides a foundation to build upon. It allows you to face reality as it is, not as you imagine it to be. Clarity brings closure to uncertainty, giving you the power to address the situation with confidence. Without it, you are left guessing, which can lead to misunderstandings and further emotional distress. Asking questions also fosters growth. It encourages open communication and can reveal aspects of a situation or relationship that were previously hidden. It challenges assumptions and brings hidden feelings or motivations to light. While this process can be uncomfortable, it is also transformative. It allows for greater authenticity and depth in relationships, as both parties are encouraged to share openly and honestly. Clarity born of courage strengthens the bonds that matter and sheds light on those that do not. The act of questioning also requires a willingness to listen and accept the answers. Seeking clarity means being prepared for whatever truth comes your way. It's about prioritizing authenticity over comfort, even when the answers challenge your expectations or desires. This acceptance is key to moving forward. Whether the truth confirms your hopes or asks you to change course, it provides the information you need to take the next step. Living in emotional limbo is not sustainable. It drains your energy, occupies your thoughts, and prevents you from fully engaging with the present moment. By seeking clarity through questions, you reclaim your peace of mind and create space for resolution. You allow yourself the freedom to move forward, unburdened by doubt or confusion. In every uncertain situation, the questions you avoid are often the ones that hold the key to your freedom. What are you afraid to ask? What truths are you avoiding? Recognize that the answers, no matter how difficult, are not the enemy. They are the foundation of your growth, healing, and strength. By asking the right questions, you take control of your emotional journey, refusing to let fear or uncertainty dictate your path. Clarity is worth the discomfort of asking hard questions. It is a gift you give yourself, a declaration that your peace, understanding, and future are too valuable to be left in the hands of uncertainty. Trust in your ability to handle the truth, whatever it may be, and embrace the freedom that clarity brings. Growth often comes disguised in the form of pain, and nowhere is this truer than in the realm of relationships. When relationships face challenges, the resulting discomfort can feel overwhelming. Yet these trials hold the power to teach profound lessons about resilience, self-awareness, and the depth of our emotional capacities. While pain is never easy to endure, it can become a catalyst for personal transformation if approached with the right mindset. Pain in relationships often forces us to confront parts of ourselves that we might otherwise overlook. When conflicts arise or when trust is broken, our initial reaction might be to blame others or retreat into a place of self-protection. But these moments, painful as they are, offer an opportunity to look inward. They compel us to examine our own actions, emotions, and patterns. What role did we play in the dynamic? What unmet needs or unresolved issues are driving our responses? These questions, though difficult to face, are essential for self-awareness. Challenges can also reveal the strength we carry within us. Resilience is not something we are born with, it is developed through experience. When faced with emotional pain, we learn how to endure, adapt, and eventually heal. This process teaches us that we are stronger than we often give ourselves credit for. Each challenge overcome adds another layer to our emotional resilience, building the foundation for future relationships and experiences. Pain, when navigated with courage, becomes a teacher that equips us for life's inevitable uncertainties. Self-awareness and resilience go hand in hand. As we navigate the complexities of relationships, we begin to understand our triggers, boundaries, and needs more clearly. For instance, a disagreement might teach us about our communication style. Perhaps we realize we avoid conflict, or we tend to react defensively. Recognizing these tendencies allows us to make intentional changes, improving not only our relationships but also our overall emotional health. This growth is not about achieving perfection, but about becoming more attuned to who we are and how we interact with others. Pain also challenges our perspective, pushing us to grow beyond our comfort zones. It can be easy to see relationships in black and white, good or bad, successful or failed. However, challenges remind us that relationships are complex and multifaceted. They are not defined solely by moments of joy or harmony, but also by how we navigate the struggles. Each challenge is an opportunity to deepen our understanding of love, connection, and ourselves. It teaches us to embrace imperfection and recognize that growth often occurs in the messy, in-between spaces. In the midst of relational pain, it is common to question our worth or feel a sense of failure. However, these moments are precisely when we must anchor ourselves in the truth of our inherent value. Challenges do not diminish who we are, they reveal our capacity to grow and adapt. They remind us that our worth is not determined by the state of a relationship, but by the effort we put into understanding and improving ourselves. One of the most profound lessons that pain can teach is the importance of boundaries. Often it is through painful experiences that we learn what we will and will not accept in relationships. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut others out, they are guidelines that protect our well-being while fostering healthier connections. Setting boundaries requires self-awareness and courage, both of which are honed through the challenges we face. Relational pain can also deepen our empathy. Experiencing hardship makes us more attuned to the struggles of others. We become better equipped to listen, support, and connect on a deeper level. This empathy enriches not only our relationships but also our understanding of humanity as a whole. It reminds us that everyone carries their own burdens and that kindness and patience go a long way in building meaningful connections. Growth from pain is about transformation. It is about taking what feels like a setback and using it as a stepping stone. The lessons learned from relational challenges are not confined to the relationships themselves, they ripple out into every area of our lives. They teach us how to face adversity with grace, how to communicate more effectively, and how to prioritize our mental and emotional health. This process is neither linear nor immediate. Growth takes time, and healing requires patience. There will be moments of doubt, anger, and sadness. But within those moments lies the seed of transformation. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your resilience and commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Pain, though uncomfortable, is not the enemy. It is a signal, a teacher, and a guide. It invites you to dig deeper, to reflect more honestly, and to grow more authentically. When approached with openness and courage, challenges in relationships become opportunities not only to strengthen the bonds you share with others, but to cultivate the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself. Through this growth, you emerge not just wiser, but also more resilient, more self-aware, and ultimately more whole. Moving forward doesn't mean you dismiss the emotions tied to your experience. It's natural to feel sadness, disappointment, or even anger when a relationship shifts or ends. These emotions are valid and deserve to be acknowledged. But moving forward means refusing to let those feelings define your journey. It's about recognizing that you are not confined by the pain of the present moment. Instead, you can use it as a stepping stone toward growth and self-discovery. Respecting yourself enough to move forward begins with understanding your inherent worth. Your value is not tied to the outcome of any relationship. It is not diminished because someone chose to leave or because circumstances changed. Too often we internalize the actions of others, believing they reflect something lacking in us. But the truth is, their choices are a reflection of their journey, not a measure of our worth. By holding on to this truth, you free yourself from the weight of unnecessary self-doubt and insecurity. Moving forward does not mean erasing the past, it means learning from it. Every relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or only a season, teaches us something valuable. Perhaps it reveals patterns in how you communicate, or maybe it highlights areas where you can grow. These lessons are gifts, even if they come wrapped in pain. They equip you with the wisdom and resilience to navigate future relationships with greater clarity and confidence. Self-respect is a cornerstone of moving forward. It means setting boundaries that protect your emotional well-being and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. It means recognizing when a relationship no longer serves you and having the courage to let go, even when it's difficult. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care, it means you care enough about yourself to prioritize your peace and happiness. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that your time and energy are too valuable to be spent in places that drain you. Strength is not about never feeling weak, it's about rising despite those moments. It's about facing the uncertainty of moving forward and choosing to trust yourself anyway. You may not have all the answers, and that's okay. Strength is built one step at a time, one decision at a time. With each forward movement, you prove to yourself that you are capable of creating a life filled with joy, fulfillment, and purpose, no matter what challenges you face. Letting go of what no longer aligns with your journey creates space for new possibilities. Sometimes we cling to relationships or situations out of fear of being alone, fear of starting over, or fear of the unknown. But in holding on, we limit ourselves. Moving forward requires faith in the idea that what lies ahead can be just as beautiful, if not more so, than what we leave behind. It's a leap of faith, but one worth taking. Moving forward is an act of hope. It's a belief in your ability to create a better future, even if the path is unclear. It's trusting that every ending is also a beginning, and every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Whether you continue your journey with someone by your side or on your own, the direction you take is yours to choose. What matters most is that you honor yourself along the way. In life, relationships will challenge us, inspire us, and at times leave us questioning our path. But through every twist and turn, remember that your worth is not defined by the actions of others, nor by the seasons of change. True growth comes from embracing the lessons hidden within pain, seeking clarity in uncertainty, and moving forward with unwavering self-respect and resilience. Each challenge refines you, teaches you, and equips you for a brighter future. Whether you walk with someone or take steps on your own, the most important thing is to honor yourself and your journey. Thank you for allowing these words to inspire and guide you. Keep moving forward with strength, courage, and faith. Your path is yours to create, and your best days are ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, let me paint a picture for you. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind howling, the ground beneath you shaky. That's what betrayal feels like, doesn't it? It's disorienting, it's painful, and most of all, it's revealing. Now, I need you to hear me, not with your ears, but with your heart. Because what I'm about to say isn't just about relationships, it's about you, your value, your peace, your future. If your partner has done these three things, let me tell you, do not, I repeat, do not give them another chance. If they've lied to your face, they've stolen something from you, your trust. Trust is fragile. It's not something you patch up with a Band-Aid apology. A lie is a crack in the foundation, and no house stands tall when its base is broken. Second, if they've disrespected you, whether through words, actions, or neglect, they've shown you exactly how little they value what you bring to the table. And listen to me, disrespect is a slippery slope. You let it slide once, and it becomes a pattern. Third, if they betrayed you, whether emotionally, physically, or spiritually, that is a deal breaker. Betrayal isn't a mistake, it's a choice. A choice that says, I value my desires over our bond, and anyone who makes that choice doesn't deserve a place in your life. Now I know what you're thinking. But I love them. Love is powerful, yes, but love without respect and trust is poison. You can't keep drinking it, hoping it'll turn into medicine. Stand tall. Walk away if you must. Not because you're giving up, but because you're giving in to the truth. The truth that you deserve better. This isn't about revenge or anger, it's about boundaries. It's about recognizing that second chances don't apply to patterns of destruction. If someone has shown you who they are, believe them. Because at the end of the day, your life is yours. And the greatest act of love you can ever show is the love you give to yourself. Trust is the invisible thread that holds a relationship together, the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without it, no amount of love, passion, or shared memories can sustain a partnership. Trust is not just a luxury in a relationship, it is a necessity, as vital as air to breathe and water to drink. It is the silent agreement that assures two people they can be vulnerable, authentic, and open without fear of betrayal or deceit. When trust is present, love flourishes. When it is absent, love becomes a fragile, flickering flames struggling to survive against the winds of doubt and suspicion. When two people come together, they bring with them their pasts, their hopes, and their fears. Trust is the bridge that allows them to cross these divides and connect deeply. It is the belief that the other person has your best interests at heart, even when things are difficult. Trust doesn't mean perfection or an absence of mistakes, rather. It means consistency, honesty, and a willingness to repair when things go wrong. It is the quiet confidence that your partner will keep their promises, that their words and actions align, and that their intentions are pure. Without trust, even the strongest love can falter. Imagine a house built on unsteady ground. No matter how beautifully it is constructed, it will eventually crack and crumble under the pressure of instability. Similarly, a relationship without trust might look fine on the surface, but beneath it lies a growing sense of uncertainty that can erode the bond between two people. This erosion often starts small, a white lie here, a broken promise there, but over time it becomes a chasm that is nearly impossible to bridge. When trust is broken, the pain runs deep. It is not just about the specific act of betrayal, whether it be a lie, an affair, or some other form of dishonesty. It is about the loss of the sense of safety and security that trust provides. Suddenly, the person you once felt most connected to feels like a stranger. Doubts creep in, turning every conversation, every glance, into an opportunity for suspicion. The emotional toll is immense, affecting not only your relationship but your sense of self-worth and your ability to trust others in the future. Rebuilding trust, while possible, is one of the hardest things to achieve in a relationship. It requires time, patience, and an extraordinary amount of effort from both parties. The person who broke the trust must show consistent, genuine accountability and a willingness to make amends. The person who was hurt must decide whether they are willing and able to forgive and move forward. But even with the best intentions, the scars of broken trust can linger, creating a relationship that is never quite the same as it once was. This is why protecting and nurturing trust is so crucial. Trust is built in the small moments of everyday life through honest conversations, acts of kindness, and the consistent demonstration of care and integrity. It grows when you honor your commitments, when you show up not just physically but emotionally, and when you prioritize your partner's well-being alongside your own. Trust is not a grand gesture, it is a series of small, intentional choices made over time. It's also important to recognize that trust is a two-way street. Just as you need to trust your partner, you must also strive to be trustworthy yourself. This means being honest even when it's uncomfortable. It means communicating openly and clearly and taking responsibility for your actions. It means respecting your partner's boundaries and showing them, through both words and deeds, that you value and cherish their trust. Some might argue that love is enough to sustain a relationship, even when trust has been damaged. But love without trust is like a beautiful flower in a vase. It may look vibrant for a time, but without roots, it will inevitably wither and die. Trust is what allows love to grow strong and resilient, able to weather the storms of life. It is what turns love from a fleeting feeling into a lasting bond. Trust is not just about the relationship, it is about the individuals within it. A relationship built on trust allows both people to feel seen, heard, and valued. It creates a space where vulnerability is met with compassion, where mistakes are met with understanding, and where challenges are met with teamwork. It is the foundation upon which true intimacy and connection are built. Without trust, a relationship becomes a shadow of what it could be. With it, love has the chance to thrive in its fullest, most beautiful form. Trust is not just the foundation of a relationship, it is its heart, its soul, and its greatest strength. Betrayal is one of the most profound wounds a person can endure in a relationship. It is more than just an act of dishonesty or a broken promise. It is a declaration of disregard for the very core of the bond between two people. Betrayal, in its essence, is not just about the action, it's about what the action reveals. When someone betrays you, they are not simply making a mistake, they are exposing a deeper truth about their character, priorities, and values. trust in a relationship is built on a foundation of shared respect and understanding. When betrayal occurs, it is like a hammer striking that foundation, leaving cracks that are difficult, if not impossible, to repair. Whether it's infidelity, deceit, or abandonment in a moment of need, betrayal goes beyond the surface act. It speaks volumes about the betrayer's inability or unwillingness to honor the commitment they made. It shows a lack of empathy, integrity, and self-control. Actions that shatter trust are not isolated incidents, they are symptoms of deeper flaws in a person's character. What makes betrayal so painful is that it violates the very essence of safety and connection in a relationship. When you trust someone, you allow yourself to be vulnerable. You share your hopes, dreams, and fears, believing that this person will honor and protect them. Betrayal takes that vulnerability and exploits it, leaving you feeling exposed and broken. It is not just about the hurt caused by the act itself, but the realization that the person you trusted is capable of causing such pain. Betrayal reveals selfishness. It shows that the betrayer prioritizes their desires, impulses, or ego above the well-being of the person they claim to care about. For example, infidelity is not just about seeking physical gratification, it is about disregarding the emotional devastation it will cause. Lying is not just about avoiding consequences, it is about manipulating someone's perception of reality for personal gain. These actions are rooted in a mindset that values self-interest over honesty and respect. Betrayal highlights a lack of accountability. People who betray often try to justify their actions, shifting blame or minimizing the impact of their choices. They might say things like, "It was just a mistake," or "I didn't mean to hurt you." While mistakes are human, betrayal is rarely an accident. It is a conscious decision to prioritize something else, be it desire, fear, or convenience, over the trust and bond shared with another person. This unwillingness to take responsibility only deepens the wound and reinforces the character flaw at play. Another truth about betrayal is that it reveals a person's inconsistency. True character is demonstrated not in words but in actions. Someone who betrays may have spoken of love, loyalty, and commitment, but their actions contradict those promises. This disconnect between words and actions is a clear indicator of a deeper flaw, a lack of authenticity, and alignment between what they claim to be and who they truly are. It is in moments of betrayal that the mask slips, and their true nature is exposed. The pain of betrayal often leads the person who was hurt to question themselves. They might wonder, was it my fault? Could I have done something differently? But it's important to remember that betrayal is never a reflection of your worth or actions, it is a reflection of the betrayer's character. Their choices are about them, not you. Recognizing this distinction is crucial for healing and moving forward. Forgiveness is a noble concept, and rebuilding trust after betrayal is sometimes possible. However, it requires more than apologies and promises. It demands a complete transformation of the character flaw that led to the betrayal in the first place. This is a monumental task, and many are unwilling or incapable of undertaking it. A relationship can only survive betrayal if both parties are willing to do the hard work of rebuilding trust and addressing the root cause of the breach. Still, it's essential to ask yourself a hard question. Even if trust can be rebuilt, do you want to stay with someone who has shown you their capacity for betrayal? Betrayal is not just a momentary lapse in judgment, it is a window into a person's priorities and values. Choosing to forgive does not mean you have to continue the relationship. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is walking away from someone who has shown they cannot be trusted. Betrayal is a powerful teacher. It teaches you about the fragility of trust, the importance of boundaries, and the value of self-respect. It also reveals the true character of the person who betrayed you. Actions that shatter trust are not isolated missteps, they are evidence of deeper flaws that may continue to manifest in the future. Recognizing this truth allows you to protect yourself and make choices that honor your worth and well-being. Trust, once broken, can sometimes be repaired, but the character flaws revealed by betrayal are not so easily erased. Self-respect is the cornerstone of a healthy, fulfilling life. It is the recognition of your intrinsic value and the unwavering commitment to honoring yourself, no matter the circumstances. In relationships, self-respect sets the tone for how others treat you. It establishes boundaries, communicates standards, and ensures that your worth is never compromised. However, when you accept certain behaviors that undermine your dignity, you unknowingly diminish your own value over time. Allowing disrespect, mistreatment, or disregard chips away at your sense of self, leaving you feeling diminished and undervalued. Accepting unacceptable behavior often begins subtly. It might start with excusing a harsh word, overlooking a broken promise, or rationalizing an instance of neglect. You tell yourself it's just this once, or they didn't mean it. But each time you let such behavior slide, you send a message to yourself and to the other person that your boundaries are flexible, that your feelings are secondary, and that your self-worth is negotiable. Over time, these small compromises accumulate, eroding your confidence and self-esteem. What you tolerate becomes the standard, and before you realize it, you're trapped in a cycle of disrespect. One of the most dangerous aspects of accepting harmful behavior is the normalization of it. The human mind has an incredible capacity to adapt, even to negative situations. What feels unacceptable at first can, over time, start to feel ordinary. You might convince yourself that it's not that bad or that everyone has flaws. While it's true that no one is perfect, there is a significant difference between imperfection and consistent disregard for your feelings and boundaries. When you allow others to cross those lines repeatedly, you begin to internalize the idea that you don't deserve better. The long-term effects of accepting disrespectful behavior can be devastating. Each instance of compromise chips away at your sense of self-worth, leaving you questioning your value and doubting your decisions. You might start to feel as though your voice doesn't matter or that standing up for yourself will only lead to conflict. This mindset can seep into other areas of your life, affecting your confidence at work, in friendships, and even in your personal goals. The more you accept behavior that diminishes your worth, the more you lose touch with the strong, capable person you truly are. Self-respect is not about arrogance or selfishness. It's about recognizing your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. It's about setting boundaries and enforcing them, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that define how you expect to be treated and how you will treat others. When you have strong boundaries, you communicate to the world that you value yourself and that you expect others to value you as well. One of the hardest parts of maintaining self-respect is the fear of losing people. You might worry that standing up for yourself will push others away, or that refusing to tolerate certain behaviors will leave you alone. But the truth is, the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries, and the ones who don't were never meant to stay in your life. Letting go of toxic relationships is not a loss. It is again a step toward a healthier, happier life where you surround yourself with people who uplift and respect you. Respecting yourself also means being willing to walk away from situations and relationships that no longer serve you. This doesn't mean you have to abandon every relationship at the first sign of trouble, but it does mean recognizing patterns of behavior that are harmful and addressing them. If those behaviors persist despite your efforts to communicate and set boundaries, then self-respect demands that you prioritize your well-being and move on. Staying in a relationship where your worth is continually undermined is not an act of loyalty, it is an act of self-betrayal. The foundation of self-respect lies in self-awareness and self-compassion. You must take the time to understand your own needs, values, and boundaries. What are the behaviors you consider unacceptable? What standards do you hold for yourself and others? Once you have clarity, you must be compassionate with yourself in enforcing these boundaries. It's natural to feel guilty or uncertain at times, but remember that every step you take towards self-respect is a step toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. Accepting disrespectful behavior is a form of settling. It's telling yourself that this is the best you can do, even when your heart knows you deserve more. Self-respect requires courage, the courage to stand up for yourself, to demand better, and to walk away when necessary. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. When you choose self-respect, you reclaim your power, honor your worth, and set the stage for a life filled with relationships and experiences that reflect the incredible value you bring to the world. Promises can be captivating. They are filled with hope, laden with the potential for change, and often delivered with the kind of sincerity that makes you want to believe. But promises, no matter how heartfelt, are ultimately empty if they are not followed by consistent actions. In relationships, it is not words that define someone's character, it is their patterns. People reveal who they are not through fleeting apologies or grand declarations, but through the behaviors they repeat over time. To build trust and maintain respect, you must learn to look beyond promises and focus on patterns. Patterns are the truth tellers of relationships. They reflect what a person values, how they prioritize their commitments, and how they respond to challenges. While anyone can apologize after making a mistake, the real question is whether that mistake becomes a lesson or a habit. An apology might soothe the immediate pain of disappointment, but only changed behavior proves that the apology was genuine. Without change, apologies become hollow words, a cycle of hurt and temporary relief that ultimately leads nowhere. When someone makes a promise, it often feels like a gesture of hope. They are acknowledging their mistake and committing to doing better. This can be comforting, especially when you want to believe in the relationship. But a promise is only as meaningful as the actions that follow. If someone repeatedly breaks promises, it is not because they are incapable of keeping them, it is because they lack the willingness or discipline to prioritize their words with actions. Over time, this pattern of broken promises erodes trust and undermines the foundation of the relationship. It's important to recognize that patterns are not accidental. They are deliberate choices repeated over time. For instance, if someone consistently disrespects your boundaries despite apologizing each time, the pattern reveals a lack of respect for your needs. If they repeatedly make commitments they don't keep, the pattern shows a disregard for the importance of reliability. Patterns are the blueprint of a person's character, and ignoring them in favor of promises sets you up for continued disappointment. One of the most damaging aspects of focusing on promises instead of patterns is the toll it takes on your self-esteem. When you allow someone to repeatedly let you down, you may start to internalize the belief that your feelings, needs, or boundaries are not important. You might begin to question your own worth, wondering if you are asking for too much or being unreasonable. This self-doubt can lead you to lower your standards and accept less than you deserve, perpetuating a cycle of unmet expectations and emotional pain. Evaluating patterns over promises requires a level of emotional clarity and self-awareness. It means paying attention to how someone shows up in your life, not just what they say. Are their actions consistent with their words? Do they make an effort to change harmful behaviors, or do they rely on apologies to pacify you? By focusing on patterns, you gain a clearer understanding of who they truly are, rather than who they claim to be or who you hope they might become. It's also essential to understand the difference between a mistake and a pattern. Everyone makes mistakes, it's part of being human. A single misstep followed by genuine effort to make amends and change is not the same as a repeated cycle of harmful behavior. Patterns emerge when mistakes are repeated, and no meaningful effort is made to address the underlying issues. The key is to look for consistency in actions, not isolated incidents or promises of change. Choosing to prioritize patterns over promises is an act of self-respect. It means valuing yourself enough to expect integrity and consistency from those around you. It's about setting boundaries and holding others accountable for their actions. This doesn't mean you have to be harsh or unforgiving, but it does mean recognizing when someone's behavior is not aligning with their words and taking appropriate steps to protect your well-being. It can be difficult to accept that someone you care about is showing you through their patterns that they are not capable or willing to meet your expectations. There may be moments when you want to believe their promises, hoping that this time will be different. But hope is not a strategy for building healthy relationships. It is the actions repeated, consistent, and aligned with respect and care that create the foundation for trust and mutual respect. Focusing on patterns over promises empowers you to make decisions based on reality rather than wishful thinking. It allows you to see people for who they truly are, not who they say they will be. This clarity is a gift, enabling you to invest your time, energy, and love in relationships that honor your worth and contribute to your growth. When you choose to value actions over words, you take a stand for your own dignity, ensuring that the relationships you nurture are built on a foundation of trust, respect, and integrity. Boundaries are an essential aspect of a healthy and fulfilling life. They are not barriers to keep people out, but expressions of self-respect, self-awareness, and emotional strength. Boundaries communicate what you will and will not accept, ensuring that your relationships and interactions are rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Far from being a sign of weakness, boundaries are a testament to your strength. They reflect your ability to honor your needs while maintaining respect for others. In a world that often rewards self-sacrifice and people-pleasing, setting boundaries is an act of courage and self-preservation. Boundaries are a declaration of your worth. When you set clear limits on how you expect to be treated, you send a powerful message to yourself and others: I value myself enough to protect my well-being. This is not about selfishness or arrogance. It is about recognizing your intrinsic value and ensuring that you are not diminished by the actions or behaviors of others. Without boundaries, you risk becoming a vessel for other people's needs, expectations, and demands, often at the expense of your own emotional health. One of the greatest misconceptions about boundaries is that they are selfish or hurtful to others. In reality, boundaries are an act of kindness, both to yourself and those around you. They provide clarity in relationships, eliminating guesswork and fostering open communication. When you establish what is acceptable and what is not, you create an environment where expectations are clear and misunderstandings are minimized. This transparency strengthens relationships, as it allows both parties to navigate interactions with mutual understanding and respect. The absence of boundaries, on the other hand, often leads to resentment and burnout. When you consistently tolerate behaviors that conflict with your values or comfort, you begin to feel unappreciated and taken for granted. Over time, this resentment can erode the quality of your relationships, leading to frustration and emotional exhaustion. By setting boundaries, you prevent these negative outcomes, ensuring that your interactions are balanced and reciprocal. It takes strength to set boundaries, especially in a culture that often equates selflessness with virtue. Saying no or asserting your needs can feel uncomfortable, particularly if you fear conflict or rejection. However, the discomfort of setting boundaries is a small price to pay for the peace and fulfillment that comes from living authentically. It is a reminder that your emotional health and self-respect are worth prioritizing, even if it means disappointing others. Establishing boundaries is also an exercise in self-awareness. To set effective limits, you must first understand your own values, priorities, and emotional triggers. What behaviors are you unwilling to tolerate? What actions make you feel disrespected or undervalued? By reflecting on these questions, you gain clarity on what you need to feel safe, respected, and supported. This self-awareness not only helps you set boundaries, but also empowers you to communicate them effectively. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about defining the terms of your engagement with the world. For example, setting boundaries might mean limiting your availability to protect your time, refusing to engage in conversations that feel disrespectful, or stepping away from situations that compromise your emotional well-being. These acts are not about rejecting others, but about affirming yourself. They are a way of ensuring that you are treated with the dignity and respect you deserve. It is important to recognize that boundaries are not static. They evolve with your growth and changing circumstances. What you are willing to tolerate in one phase of your life may no longer be acceptable as you gain confidence and self-awareness. This fluidity is a natural part of personal growth, reflecting your increasing understanding of your needs and values. Revisiting and adjusting your boundaries is a sign of strength, as it demonstrates your commitment to living in alignment with your true self. Implementing boundaries requires clear and compassionate communication. People cannot honor your limits if they do not know what they are. When communicating your boundaries, It is important to be direct yet respectful. For example, instead of saying, "You always disrespect my time," you might say, "I need to feel that my time is valued, so I would appreciate it if we could stick to agreed upon schedules." This approach emphasizes your needs without attacking the other person, fostering a constructive dialogue. Some people may resist or challenge your boundaries, especially if they have benefited from your lack of them in the past. This resistance can be difficult to navigate, but it is a test of your resolve. Standing firm in the face of pushback is a powerful affirmation of your strength and self-worth. Remember, boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about taking control of your own life and ensuring that your well-being is not compromised. Boundaries are an act of self-love. They protect your emotional health, honor your values, and ensure that your relationships are rooted in mutual respect. By setting and maintaining boundaries, you create a life that reflects your worth and fosters genuine connection. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Boundaries are the foundation of a balanced and fulfilling life, a testament to the strength and self-respect that define who you are. Love, at its core, is meant to be a force that uplifts, supports, and enriches your life. It should never be something that tears you down, leaves you feeling diminished, or causes you pain. Yet, in the name of love, many people tolerate behaviors and situations that undermine their self-worth and emotional well-being. True love is not about suffering or sacrifice at the expense of yourself. It is about mutual respect, care, and growth. When love becomes toxic, it ceases to be love and transforms into something harmful, a shadow of what it is meant to be. Healthy love uplifts because it is rooted in respect. Respect is the foundation of any relationship that seeks to thrive. It means valuing each other's feelings, boundaries, and individuality. In a healthy relationship, both partners are equals, contributing to a dynamic where each feels safe and valued. There is no room for control, manipulation, or disregard. Instead, the relationship becomes a space where both people feel free to express themselves, pursue their goals, and grow as individuals and as a couple. Toxic love, on the other hand, is marked by patterns that erode self-esteem and happiness. It often begins subtly, with small acts of control, criticism, or neglect that grow over time. Before long, these behaviors create an environment of fear, insecurity, and doubt. Toxic love thrives on imbalance. One partner dominates while the other sacrifices. Instead of feeling uplifted, you may find yourself questioning your worth, walking on eggshells, or constantly trying to prove your love or earn the other person's approval. One of the most painful aspects of toxic love is its ability to distort your perception of what love should be. If you have been hurt in the name of love, you might begin to equate love with struggle or pain. You may convince yourself that enduring mistreatment is a sign of commitment, or that love requires you to tolerate things that diminish your happiness. This is not love. This is a harmful narrative that keeps you trapped in a cycle of emotional suffering. Real love does not hurt. It does not demand that you give up your sense of self to keep someone else happy. In healthy love, conflict is resolved with kindness and understanding, not blame or hostility. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but the way they are handled reveals the nature of the connection. In a healthy relationship, conflict becomes an opportunity to understand each other better and find solutions that work for both partners. Toxic love, however, weaponizes conflict, using it as a tool to belittle, control, or manipulate. This creates an environment where you feel unheard and invalidated, further deepening the emotional damage. Healthy love also celebrates your individuality. It encourages you to pursue your passions, maintain your friendships, and honor your personal goals. A healthy partner recognizes that you are a whole person, not an extension of them. Toxic love, by contrast, seeks to control or diminish your individuality. It may involve jealousy, possessiveness, or an expectation that you give up parts of yourself to accommodate the other person. Over time, this can lead to a loss of identity, making it difficult to recognize who you are outside of the relationship. One of the clearest signs of healthy love is how it makes you feel about yourself. In a healthy relationship, you feel valued, cherished, and supported. Your partner celebrates your successes, comforts you in times of struggle, and treats you with kindness and respect. Toxic love, however, often leaves you feeling anxious, insecure, or unworthy. Instead of building you up, it tears you down, creating a cycle of pain that is difficult to escape. It is important to remember that love should never be a justification for mistreatment. No amount of love can excuse disrespect, manipulation, or abuse. True love is not about enduring pain, it is about creating a partnership that uplifts both people involved. If love is causing you more harm than happiness, it is not love, it is a toxic dynamic that needs to be addressed or ended. Choosing to walk away from toxic love is an act of self-preservation and self-respect. It is not easy, especially when emotions are involved, but it is necessary for your well-being. Healthy love will never ask you to compromise your dignity, self-worth, or happiness. It will never require you to endure pain or tolerate behaviors that hurt you. Letting go of toxic love opens the door to a healthier, more fulfilling future, where you can experience the kind of love that truly uplifts and nurtures you. Love should be a source of joy, comfort, and growth. It should inspire you to become the best version of yourself and provide a safe space where you feel valued and cherished. Love should never make you feel small, inadequate, or hurt. When love is healthy, it becomes a foundation for a life of happiness and fulfillment. Anything less than that is not worth holding on to. Healthy love uplifts, toxic love tears you down. Choose to embrace the love that honors your worth. In conclusion, love is meant to be a force that uplifts, nurtures, and strengthens. It thrives on respect, trust, and the mutual willingness to grow and support each other. Healthy love inspires joy and self-discovery, while toxic love erodes self-worth and creates a cycle of pain. By setting boundaries, valuing consistent actions over empty promises, and prioritizing self-respect, you honor your worth and ensure that love in your life aligns with your highest values. Remember, true love never tears you down, it builds you up, celebrates your individuality, and adds to your happiness. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on this message. Here's to choosing love that uplifts and empowers. Stay strong and stay true to yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the dawn of a new year approaches, there is one question you must ask yourself: what is holding me back? Most people will point to external circumstances, lack of time, resources, or opportunity. But let me tell you this, the greatest obstacle in your life is not out there, it's within you. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps you tied to mediocrity. It whispers that you are not enough, that the world is too big, and that your dreams are too far-fetched. But let me remind you, fear is a liar. It exists only in your mind, and it grows stronger the more you believe in it. If you want 2025 to be your year, you must confront this truth: you are the creator of your reality. What you allow in your mind becomes the life you live. If you let fear occupy your thoughts, it will build walls around your potential. But if you dare to believe in your vision, those walls will crumble. Let us go deeper. How does fear manifest? It shows up as doubt. You doubt your abilities, your worth, and your power to change. But doubt is the enemy of creation. To manifest the life you desire, you must replace doubt with faith, faith in your vision, faith in the unseen, and most importantly, faith in yourself. Understand this: everything you need is already within you. You don't need permission from the world to succeed. The only permission you need is from yourself. Give yourself that gift today. Now let's talk about the power of your imagination. Whatever you vividly imagine and believe in becomes your reality. When you close your eyes and see yourself living your dream, feeling it with every fiber of your being, you set into motion the forces that bring it to life. So what will you imagine for 2025? Will you see yourself as someone who hesitates, Or will you see yourself as someone who takes bold steps forward? The choice is yours. Do not let fear, doubt, or hesitation hold you back. The power is in your hands to create a year that reflects the greatness within you. The world is not waiting to give you a chance. It's waiting for you to claim what is already yours. The world you see is a reflection of the story you tell yourself. This truth is both simple and profound. If you perceive the world as hostile, full of obstacles, and lacking in opportunity, you will live in a reality that echoes those beliefs. But if you view life as abundant, full of possibility, and unfolding in your favor, that is the reality you will experience. This is not just a philosophical notion, it is the key to transforming your life. Your perception shapes your reality. Perception is more than just the way you interpret events, it is the lens through which you experience every aspect of your existence. The mind operates like a mirror, reflecting back the images, emotions, and beliefs you consistently hold within. Think of it this way: your thoughts are seeds, and your mind is fertile ground. Whatever seeds you plant, whether they are of abundance or lack, joy or despair, will grow and shape the landscape of your life. If you believe the world is against you, your mind will find evidence to support that belief, even in neutral circumstances. On the other hand, if you believe the universe is conspiring for your good, you will begin to see opportunities where others see roadblocks. The power of perception lies in its ability to dictate your responses. Two people can experience the same event, yet interpret it in entirely different ways. One sees failure and stops trying, the other sees a lesson and grows stronger. It is not the event that defines them, but the story they tell about it. This is why shifting your inner narrative is so crucial. The story you tell yourself about who you are, what you are capable of, and what the world is like will become the foundation of your reality. Changing your perception requires an intentional effort to rewrite the script running in your mind. For many, this script has been shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, and inherited beliefs. These narratives often operate subconsciously, influencing decisions, actions, and emotions without your awareness. For example, if you've been told that success is reserved for a select few, you might unconsciously limit yourself from pursuing your dreams. But once you recognize that this belief is not a universal truth, you gain the power to replace it with a new narrative, one that serves you rather than hinders you. To shift your perception, start by becoming aware of the stories you tell yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise when you face challenges or consider new opportunities. Are they empowering, or do they reinforce fear and doubt? Awareness is the first step in breaking free from limiting beliefs. Once you've identified the stories that no longer serve you, begin to question them. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? More often than not, you will find that these beliefs are based on assumptions rather than facts. As you challenge old narratives, replace them with new ones that align with the reality you want to create. If you've been telling yourself that you're not good enough, start affirming your worth and capabilities. If you've been focusing on scarcity, shift your attention to the abundance around you, no matter how small it may seem at first. This process is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Visualization is a powerful tool for reshaping your perception. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you desire, you activate the creative power of your mind. The more vividly you can see and feel this new reality, the more your mind begins to accept it as true. This is because your subconscious cannot distinguish between imagination and actual experience. By consistently visualizing your desired outcome, you train your mind to seek out opportunities and solutions that align with your vision. Another essential aspect of shifting your perception is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. When you approach life with gratitude, you begin to see blessings in places you once overlooked. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather recognizing that even difficulties carry lessons and opportunities for growth. Gratitude transforms your perception of the present moment, making it a fertile ground for positive change. The outer world is malleable, shaped by the energy you bring to it. When you change your inner narrative, your actions naturally align with your new beliefs. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak with more confidence, and make decisions that reflect your elevated perception of yourself and the world. This shift in energy attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with your new state of being. It is important to remember that perception is not a one-time shift but an ongoing practice. Life will continue to present challenges, and old patterns may resurface. But each moment offers a choice to fall back into limiting narratives or to consciously choose a perspective that empowers you. With practice, choosing the latter becomes second nature. Your perception is the compass that guides your journey. When you align it with the reality you want to create, life begins to unfold in ways that reflect your inner transformation. The world is not fixed, it is a mirror that responds to the way you see it. Shift your inner narrative, and your external world will follow suit. In doing so, you unlock the limitless potential that has always been within you. Fear thrives in the shadows of uncertainty. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if things don't go as planned? These questions are like chains, binding you to the familiar, even when the familiar no longer serves you. Yet when you examine fear closely, you see that it is hollow. It is not the event itself that causes fear, but your interpretation of it. The unknown is not inherently dangerous, but your mind fills the void with imagined threats. Fear is a projection, not a reality. To break free from this prison, you must first recognize fear for what it is, a creation of your own mind. It is not an external force imposing itself upon you, it is an internal reaction to something you believe to be true. This realization is powerful because it shifts the locus of control from the external world to within yourself. If fear is created in your mind, it can also be dismantled there. The next step is to confront your fear directly. Avoidance only gives fear more power. When you avoid the things you fear, you reinforce the belief that they are too big, too overwhelming, or too dangerous to face. But when you meet fear head-on, you begin to see it for what it truly is, an illusion. The act of facing your fear, even in small steps, chips away at its foundation. Each time you confront it, you grow stronger, and fear grows weaker. Imagine a situation that frightens you. Perhaps it is speaking in public, pursuing a dream, or making a significant life change. When you look at it through the lens of fear, it feels impossible. But now imagine approaching it with curiosity instead of fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And if it does, can I handle it more often than not? You will find that the worst case scenario is far less catastrophic than your fear would have you believe. And even if challenges arise, you possess the resilience to overcome them. Fear also has a peculiar way of masquerading as logic. It convinces you to stay small under the guise of being realistic. It tells you that risks are too high and that it's safer to stay where you are. But safety and growth cannot coexist. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and trusting that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way. Fear would have you believe that staying in your comfort zone is the safer choice, but in reality it is the most dangerous. A life confined by fear is a life half-lived. Releasing fear does not mean eradicating it completely. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, and it will arise from time to time. The key is not to let it control you. Instead of resisting fear or pretending it doesn't exist, acknowledge it. Say, I see you, fear, but I will not let you make decisions for me. This simple act of acknowledgement takes away fear's power and allows you to move forward despite its presence. One of the most effective ways to release fear is to shift your focus. Fear thrives when you concentrate on what could go wrong. But when you redirect your attention to what could go right, fear loses its grip. Visualize yourself succeeding. Feel the joy, pride, and freedom that come with stepping into your potential. The more vividly you imagine this, the more real it becomes, and the less room there is for fear. Gratitude is another powerful antidote to fear. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, fear diminishes. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, reminding you of your strength and the abundance already in your life. Fear, by contrast, is rooted in the future, a future that may never come to pass. By staying anchored in gratitude, you free yourself from the illusion of fear and step into the reality of your present power. Fear is the only prison because it confines you to a version of yourself that is smaller than who you truly are. It keeps you from exploring the vastness of your potential, from taking the risks that lead to growth, and from living a life that feels deeply fulfilling. But you hold the key to this prison. When you release fear, you step into the boundless possibilities that await you. The world opens up not because it has changed, but because you have. You see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and you move forward with the confidence that comes from knowing you are not bound by limitations. You are limitless, but to experience this truth, you must let go of fear. Do not let it hold you back from the life you are meant to live. The moment you choose to release it, you discover that the freedom you sought was always within you. The present moment is the only point of true power, the only space where creation unfolds. While the mind often wanders to the past with its memories, or to the future with its hopes and fears, the reality is that everything begins and ends in the now. The choices you make in this moment, the thoughts you hold, and the feelings you allow yourself to embrace are the seeds of your future. The life you desire is not waiting for you somewhere out there, it is being created here, in this very moment. Many people live as though the future will rescue them. They think, when I have more money, I'll be happy, or once I meet the right person, my life will improve, but the future is never something you can experience directly. It is always just beyond reach, like the horizon that recedes as you move toward it. What you call the future is simply the present moment that has yet to arrive. The way you meet this moment determines how the next unfolds. The conditions of tomorrow are planted in the soil of today. Your thoughts are powerful creative forces. Every thought carries energy, and this energy is like a blueprint shaping what is to come. A thought of abundance creates the conditions for abundance to flow into your life, while a thought of lack invites scarcity. It may seem subtle, but over time the repetition of these thoughts builds momentum. The mind works like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and nurture will grow. If you plant seeds of worry, fear, or doubt, you will see a harvest of challenges. But if you plant seeds of faith, joy, and gratitude, you will cultivate a life of fulfillment and peace. Equally important are your feelings. Thoughts and emotions are intimately connected, with one influencing the other in an ongoing cycle. When you feel love, joy, or gratitude in this moment, you align yourself with the energy of your desires. This emotional state is not just a reaction to your environment, it is a signal you send out to the universe. By choosing how you feel now, you become a magnet for experiences that match that energy. For example, if you want a future filled with love, begin by feeling love in this moment, love for yourself, for others, and for life itself. But the present moment is often overlooked. The mind, ever restless, pulls you into the past with its regrets, or to the future with its anxieties. This endless tug-of-war keeps you from fully experiencing the power of now. The past cannot be changed, and the future has yet to come. To dwell on either is to waste the creative potential of the present. When you bring your awareness back to this moment, you reclaim your power. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to anchor yourself in the now. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, of noticing what is happening within and around you without judgment. It can be as simple as taking a deep breath and feeling the air fill your lungs, or noticing the sensations in your body as you sit or stand. These small acts of awareness pull you out of the mind's chatter and into the reality of the present. In this space, you can choose your thoughts and emotions consciously rather than letting old patterns dictate them. Gratitude is another key to unlocking the power of the present moment. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your energy. Gratitude grounds you in the now and aligns you with abundance. It is a reminder that you are already supported, already whole, and already capable of creating the future you desire. Begin by finding just one thing to be grateful for in this moment of breath, a heartbeat, or the light of the sun, and let that feeling expand. Visualization also brings the future into the present. When you vividly imagine the life you want, you are not merely daydreaming, you are rehearsing that reality in the present moment. Your mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So by immersing yourself in the vision of your desired future, you begin to embody it now. This embodiment, this alignment of thought, emotion, and action sets the wheels of creation in motion. It is essential to remember that the present moment is not about perfection. Challenges will arise and doubts may surface. The goal is not to suppress these experiences, but to meet them with awareness. Even in moments of difficulty, you have the power to choose your response. A single moment of conscious decision can shift the trajectory of your life. Your future is not something distant and separate, it is an extension of this moment. When you realize this, you understand that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of reality. How you think and feel right now is setting the stage for what comes next. Choose to see this moment as full of potential. Choose thoughts that uplift and inspire. Choose feelings that resonate with the life you wish to create. The present moment is a gift. It holds within it the power to transform your life, not through waiting, hoping, or wishing, but through deliberate and conscious creation. By aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you desire, you step into the flow of life. You are no longer chasing the future, you are creating it. All of this begins in the now. Doubt is a thief that sneaks into the mind and quietly dismantles dreams before they even have a chance to take root. It whispers that you are not capable, not worthy, or not ready, creating barriers where none truly exist. While failure is often seen as the great obstacle to success, it is not failure that stops most dreams from being realized, it is doubt. Failure, when it comes, carries with it lessons and opportunities for growth. Doubt, on the other hand, is a silent saboteur, killing dreams before they even take their first breath. It creates a paralysis of action, a fear of trying, and a constant second-guessing that drains your energy and focus. Doubt often disguises itself as rationality. It tells you that you're simply being cautious or realistic, but its true purpose is to keep you small, to prevent you from stepping into the unknown. This is because doubt thrives on uncertainty, feeding on your fears of what might go wrong. But the truth is, nothing great has ever been achieved without a willingness to face uncertainty. Every breakthrough, every invention, every act of courage began with someone who chose to believe in possibility rather than be consumed by doubt. To understand the power of doubt, you must also understand its opposite, faith. Faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner knowing, a trust in the unseen, and a belief in your ability to create and achieve. Faith does not require proof, it is the proof itself. When you replace doubt with faith, you open yourself to a world of possibilities. You stop fixating on what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. This shift in perspective is transformative because your energy flows where your attention goes. By choosing faith, you align yourself with your desires rather than your fears. The key to overcoming doubt is not to suppress it or pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, it is to confront it with awareness and understanding. Doubt arises when you allow your mind to dwell on uncertainty and negativity. It grows when you replay past failures or imagine worst-case scenarios. But when you bring your attention back to the present moment and to the vision of what you want to achieve, doubt loses its power. You cannot eliminate doubt entirely, but you can choose not to let it dictate your actions. One way to counter doubt is to take action, even if it's small and imperfect. Doubt often convinces you that you need to have everything figured out before you begin. It tells you that you need more knowledge, more resources, or more time. But the truth is, clarity comes through action, not before it. Every step you take, no matter how small, builds momentum and chips away at doubt. With each step, you gain confidence, not because doubt disappears, but because you prove to yourself that you are capable of moving forward despite it. Another way to replace doubt with faith is to visualize the outcome you desire. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, your mind begins to accept it as a possibility. This is not just a mental exercise, it is a powerful tool for shifting your energy. Visualization helps you align with the feeling of already having achieved your goal, which in turn attracts the people, opportunities, and circumstances needed to bring it to life. When doubt arises, return to this vision. Let it serve as your anchor, reminding you of what is possible. Gratitude is another antidote to doubt. When you focus on what you already have and what is already working in your life, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. Doubt thrives on a sense of inadequacy, but gratitude reminds you of your strengths, your achievements, and the support around you. It grounds you in the present moment, where you are most powerful, and reinforces the belief that you are capable of creating even more to be grateful for. It is also important to recognize that doubt often mirrors your deeper fears of failure, rejection, or unworthiness. By addressing these fears directly, you can begin to dismantle the foundation on which doubt stands. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if I try and fail? Can I handle it more often than not? The answers reveal that the risks are far smaller than doubt would have you believe. And even when challenges arise, they are not the end, they are part of the journey. Faith requires courage. It asks you to trust in yourself, in your vision, and in the unseen forces that support you. It does not guarantee that every step will be easy, but it assures you that every step is worth taking. Doubt may persist, but it does not have to define you. You have the power to choose faith over fear, belief over uncertainty, and action over hesitation. Remember, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could, because doubt stops you from even trying. Failure, on the other hand, is a stepping stone, a teacher, and often a necessary part of the path to success. When you release doubt and embrace faith, you step into your full power. You begin to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as redirections. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is your willingness to believe in them and in yourself. The moment you choose faith, the silent saboteur of doubt begins to fade, and your dreams become not just possible, but inevitable. You are the operant power in your own life, the sole architect of your experiences. Everything you see, everything you encounter, is a reflection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold. The power to change your circumstances, to reshape your reality, does not lie outside of you, it resides within. This truth is both liberating and humbling, for it places the full responsibility for your life in your own hands. It means that you are not at the mercy of external forces, luck, or other people's actions. Instead, you are the cause of everything that unfolds, and as the cause, you hold the power to create change. Many people go through life believing they are victims of circumstance. They look to the world around them and see limitations, obstacles, and challenges as fixed realities that dictate what is possible for them. They say, if only I had more time, more money, or more support, then I could achieve my goals. They wait for the conditions to change before taking action, never realizing that the power to alter those conditions lies within them. The truth is that the external world is not fixed, it is malleable, shaped by the energy and beliefs you bring to it. Your thoughts are the building blocks of your reality. Every thought you entertain, whether fleeting or sustained, carries with it a vibrational energy that influences your experiences. Positive, empowering thoughts create conditions of growth and success, while negative, self-defeating thoughts perpetuate struggle and limitation. But it is not enough to think positively on the surface while harboring doubts and fears underneath. The true power lies in your ability to align your entire being, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality you wish to create. This alignment activates the creative power within you and sets in motion the forces necessary to manifest your desires. The key to wielding this power is awareness. You must become conscious of the patterns of thought and belief that shape your life. This requires introspection and honesty, as it often means confronting the limiting beliefs you have accepted as truth. These beliefs may have been instilled in you by society, family, or past experiences, but they are not absolute. You have the power to question them, to release them, and to replace them with beliefs that serve your highest good. When you take full ownership of your inner world, you reclaim your role as the operant power. It is important to understand that circumstances do not define you. They are merely the outward expressions of your inner state. If you see lack, failure, or limitation in your life, it is not because the world is against you. It is because on some level, you have accepted those conditions as part of your reality. This is not to place blame, but to empower you to recognize that change begins with you. The moment you decide to shift your perspective, the moment you choose to see yourself as abundant, capable, and deserving, the outer world begins to reflect that shift. Action is an essential part of this process. But it is not action alone that creates change. It is inspired action that flows from a place of belief and alignment that carries the greatest power. When you act from a place of fear, doubt, or desperation, your efforts are often met with resistance because they are not aligned with the energy of your desires. But when you act from a place of confidence, trust, and knowing, the path forward unfolds with ease. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between striving and creating. Faith is your anchor as you step into the role of the operant power. Faith is the quiet certainty that your desires are already fulfilled, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. It is the unwavering belief in your ability to create, no matter the circumstances. Faith sustains you in moments of doubt and keeps you aligned with the vision of your desired reality. It is not blind, it is rooted in the understanding that the power to shape your life lies within you. The external world may present challenges, but these challenges are not there to defeat you. They are opportunities for growth, reflections of the areas where your beliefs and actions need to come into greater alignment. When you encounter resistance, do not see it as a sign of failure. Instead, see it as a chance to refine your focus and strengthen your faith. The power within you is limitless, but it requires your conscious direction to fully activate. To embrace your role as the operant power is to take full responsibility for your life. It means releasing the need to blame external factors for your struggles and recognizing that you have the ability to create something different. It means stepping out of the role of victim and into the role of creator. It means trusting in your power even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The force to change your circumstances lies within you, and nothing external can limit it unless you allow it to. Own this truth, and you will discover that you are not just a participant in life, you are its author. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. When you fully embrace this understanding, you step into a realm of limitless possibilities, where your desires are not dreams deferred but realities waiting to be claimed. You are the operant power. Own it and watch your world transform. Stop waiting for permission, for no one outside of you holds the key to your success. The authority you seek is already within you, yet so many spend their lives waiting for validation, approval, or some external sign that it's the right time to act. This waiting creates stagnation, a life lived on pause, as if the fullness of your potential hinges on someone else's acknowledgement. But the truth is, the power to move forward, to create, and to achieve lies entirely within your hands. You are the only one who can unlock the door to your dreams. Why do so many of us feel the need for permission? It is often rooted in fear of rejection, failure, or judgment. We seek the approval of others to shield us from these fears, believing that their endorsement will guarantee success, or at the very least, soften the blow of possible failure. But the reality is that no amount of external approval can eliminate risk, nor can it ensure the outcome you desire. All it does is delay the inevitable truth. The only permission that matters is the one you grant yourself. Waiting for permission often comes disguised as patience or preparation. You tell yourself that you're waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or the ideal conditions. But deep down, this waiting is often just an excuse to avoid stepping into the unknown. The right moment rarely arrives because the right moment is not something you wait for, it is something you create. Action, not waiting, is what sets things in motion. And action begins with the decision to move forward without waiting for anyone to say, "Now you're ready." The world is filled with examples of people who succeeded not because they were granted permission, but because they chose to act despite the lack of it. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were good enough or that their ideas were worthy. They took bold steps, trusting in their vision and their ability to figure things out along the way. This is the mindset you must adopt if you wish to break free from the cycle of waiting. You must recognize that you are the authority in your own life, the one who determines your worth and your readiness. Granting yourself permission begins with a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop looking outside of yourself for validation and start looking within. Ask yourself, what do I want? What am I capable of? What is holding me back? Often you'll find that the only thing truly standing in your way is your own hesitation, fueled by a belief that you need something outside of yourself to move forward. But this belief is a lie. The moment you decide to act, you prove to yourself that you are capable, and with each step, your confidence grows. Fear will always be present when you step into the unknown, but fear is not a reason to hold back. It is a signal that you are moving beyond your comfort zone, into a space where growth and possibility reside. Waiting for permission will not eliminate this fear, it will only prolong it. The only way to overcome fear is to face it, to take action despite it, and to show yourself that you are stronger than the doubts that try to hold you back. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that you do not need to have everything figured out to begin. Perfection is not a prerequisite for action. Waiting until you feel completely ready is another form of seeking permission, a way of delaying the inevitable leap. The truth is, readiness comes through action. As you take steps, you learn, you adapt, and you grow. The path becomes clearer as you walk it, but you must first take that initial step without waiting for anyone to push you forward. You'll understand that not everyone will approve of your decisions or support your vision, and that's okay. You are not living your life to meet the expectations of others. Your dreams are yours for a reason, and they don't need to make sense to anyone but you. By waiting for others to validate your path, you give away your power. By granting yourself permission, you reclaim it. You take ownership of your life and your choices, knowing that your success is not dependent on the opinions or approval of others. To stop waiting for permission is to step into your power. It is to recognize that you are the creator of your reality, the one who decides what is possible for you. It is to trust in your ability to navigate challenges and to learn from setbacks. It is to believe in your vision, even when the world around you offers no guarantees. When you stop waiting and start acting, you shift from a state of passivity to one of creation. You move from being a spectator in your own life to being the driving force behind it. The authority you seek has always been yours. It does not come from a title, a degree, or someone else's approval. It comes from within, from the decision to own your potential and step boldly into the life you desire. Give yourself the permission you've been waiting for, and you'll discover that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was the belief that you needed someone else's approval. In truth, you never did. The power has always been yours. Take it and move forward without hesitation. Imagination is the gateway to transformation, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the key that unlocks the infinite potential of your life. Your mind is not a passive observer of reality, but an active creator shaping the world around you through the images, feelings, and beliefs you hold within. Everything you experience begins first as a thought, a vision, or a feeling in the mind. This is the workshop of creation, where possibilities are born and where transformation begins. What you vividly imagine and embrace as real in your inner world inevitably manifests in your external reality. Imagination is not a frivolous daydream or a meaningless escape. It is the most powerful tool you possess for change and growth. Through imagination, you can step beyond the confines of your current circumstances and see a new reality, one that is not limited by past experiences or present conditions. When you engage your imagination with intention, you tap into a creative force that knows no boundaries. This force does not care about the how or the why of your desires. It simply responds to the images and emotions you impress upon it, bringing them into existence in ways you may not have anticipated. Many people underestimate the power of imagination because they associate it with fantasy, something separate from reality. Yet the truth is that imagination is the foundation of all reality. Every invention, every work of art, every great achievement began as a thought in someone's mind. Before it was tangible, it was imagined. The chair you sit on, the device you use to read these words, even the building you live in, all were once ideas, vividly imagined and brought into being through belief and action. Your own life is no different. What you vividly imagine and feel deeply, you create. The key to harnessing the transformative power of imagination lies in your ability to engage it with conviction. It is not enough to passively think about what you want, you must embody it. Feel it as though it is already real. When you imagine a desired outcome with clarity and emotion, your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. The feelings you generate in your imagination set off a chain reaction in your subconscious mind, aligning your thoughts, actions, and external circumstances with the vision you hold. This is why it is so important to cultivate a clear and positive inner vision. Your imagination is always at work, whether you realize it or not, and it will create whatever you focus on most, whether that focus is on abundance or lack, joy or struggle. Imagination is also the tool that allows you to transcend the limitations of the present moment. No matter where you find yourself, no matter how challenging your circumstances may appear, you can use your imagination to see beyond them and create a new reality. You are not bound by the constraints of the material world. Your true power lies in your ability to envision something greater. When you consistently imagine yourself living the life you desire, you begin to shift your inner state, and that shift inevitably reflects in your outer world. The transformation starts within, but it does not stay there. It ripples outward, affecting every area of your life. The process of using imagination as a gateway to transformation requires trust and persistence. It is not always easy to hold on to a vision when the evidence around you seems to contradict it. Doubt may creep in, tempting you to abandon your imagination and accept the status quo. But this is the test of your belief. The moment when you must choose to trust in the unseen. Remember, the physical world is not fixed, it is fluid and responsive to the energy you bring to it. When you persist in imagining and feeling your desired reality as true, you give it the time and space to unfold. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to change not only your external circumstances but also your inner self. As you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, confident, successful, joyful, you begin to embody those qualities in the present moment. Your self-concept shifts, and with it, your actions and decisions align with the version of you that you are creating. This is the essence of transformation, not merely changing what you have, but changing who you are. When you become the person who naturally lives the life you desire, that life flows to you effortlessly. Imagination also opens the door to possibilities you may not have considered. It allows you to step beyond the logical mind, which is often limited by past experiences and societal conditioning, and tap into a realm of infinite creativity. Solutions to problems, ideas for growth, and paths to success often come to you when you allow your imagination to roam freely. This is why it is so important to nurture your imagination, to give yourself permission to dream boldly and without restriction. The more vividly and expansively you imagine, the more expansive your reality becomes. Your imagination is the most valuable tool you have for creating a life of fulfillment and purpose. It is the gateway to transformation, the means by which you turn desire into reality. Whatever you vividly imagine and feel as real is not merely a possibility, it is a certainty. waiting to be claimed. Embrace the power of your imagination, and you will discover that the life you dream of is not something to be pursued, it is something to be created, moment by moment, from within. In conclusion, the power to transform your life lies entirely within you. Your imagination is the gateway to creation, your thoughts shape your reality, and your feelings bring those visions to life. When you let go of doubt, embrace faith, and recognize your role as the operant power, you unlock infinite potential. You do not need to wait for permission, fear external circumstances, or be bound by the limitations of the present. Instead, step boldly into the creative force within, trusting that what you vividly imagine and feel as real will manifest in your world. Your future is built in the present moment through your beliefs, your focus, and your willingness to act with conviction. Do not let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others hold you back. Own your power, grant yourself permission, and move forward with unwavering faith in your ability to create a life of purpose, abundance, and joy. Thank you for allowing these words to resonate within you. May they serve as a reminder of the immense power you hold and inspire you to step into the fullness of who you are.
You don't need to beg for anyone's attention, chase their approval, or play games to keep them around. It's time to stop. Stop texting out of desperation. Stop chasing those who won't give you the time of day. Stop letting your self-worth be tied to someone else's behavior. You need to understand something deep down: you are enough. Right now, just as you are. Your worth isn't dependent on anyone else's opinion, their affection, or their attention. If someone can't see that, let them go. Because the right people will see you, will recognize your value, and they won't make you beg for it. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop playing games, something powerful happens. You reclaim your peace. You reclaim your energy. And when you stop sending texts just to get a response, you create space for meaningful connections to enter your life. Real relationships, real love are never about begging or chasing. They're about respect. They're about authenticity. And if you aren't being respected, it's time to walk away. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to beg or chase after someone who isn't giving you the same energy. Your confidence, your self-assurance is magnetic. It's time to stop seeking approval from anyone. You don't need anyone else to tell you that you're worthy. When you know your worth, you don't have to chase, and you don't have to beg. You'll be amazed at how much peace you find when you stop playing those games. You'll find that when you focus on your own life, your own growth, everything that's meant for you will come naturally. Stop engaging in the drama. Stop being part of the chaos. You deserve peace. You deserve balance. And that is what you'll attract when you stop begging, chasing, and playing games. Remember this: the greatest power you have is in your silence, your detachment, and your ability to walk away. You're not here to chase anything. You're here to live on your terms. And when you live with that kind of power, the right people will respect you. The right things will come to you. So no more begging, no more chasing, no more texting out of desperation. Stop playing games, be who you are, and watch everything you deserve fall into place. Self-worth is the foundation upon which everything in your life should be built. It's the very essence of who you are, and it is not something that can be earned or taken away by others. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with external validation, it's easy to lose sight of this truth. But you need to understand something fundamental: you are enough, exactly as you are, without needing to beg, chase, or play games for anyone's attention, affection, or approval. Too often, people believe that their worth is tied to how others see them. The idea that we must prove our value through actions or words to gain love, acceptance, or recognition is deeply ingrained in society. But this belief is a lie. Your value is not something that can be bargained for or negotiated. It's intrinsic, embedded in the very core of your being. It's not dependent on how someone else feels about you or whether they reciprocate your affections or desires. When you understand that your worth is inherent, you stop measuring yourself by the approval of others. You stop chasing after people who don't see your value. You stop thinking that you need to beg for someone's time or affection, or that you need to play games to earn their attention. When you know who you are, when you understand your worth, you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Think about how much time and energy we waste chasing after things that aren't meant for us. We chase relationships, recognition, and success because we think these things will validate us, will prove to us that we matter. But the truth is, no external validation can ever fill that void if you don't already recognize your worth within yourself. You are not defined by the job you have, the relationship you're in, or the number of people who like or follow you. You are defined by the strength of your character, your integrity, your kindness, and your ability to stand firm in your truth. It's incredibly liberating when you realize that you don't need to chase anyone or anything. When you no longer feel the need to win people over or convince them of your value, you free yourself from the shackles of insecurity and doubt. You stop wasting time and energy on things that drain you. Instead, you begin to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your peace, your happiness. No one is going to value you more than you value yourself. This is a critical truth that too many people overlook. If you are constantly chasing after others for their approval, you are telling them that you don't believe in your own worth. You're giving away your power. The moment you stop begging for attention or chasing people who don't appreciate you, you begin to reclaim that power. You begin to radiate a quiet confidence that others can't help but notice. People are drawn to that energy because it's rare and authentic. It's magnetic. When you know your worth, you don't feel the need to play games. You don't have to engage in manipulative behavior or put on a facade to get someone's attention. You show up as yourself, unapologetically, and if someone is meant to be in your life, they will see that and appreciate you for who you are. If not, you let them go, without hard feelings, without resentment. You understand that your value isn't dependent on their opinion of you. The reality is that when you constantly seek external validation, you are giving away the power to define yourself. It's like you are handing your self-worth to others, giving them control over how you feel about yourself. But when you recognize that your value comes from within, you take that power back. You set the terms for how you are treated. You no longer feel like you have to chase after people or try to make them see you in a certain light. You simply are, and that is enough. The moment you start to believe in your own worth, you stop wasting time on things that are not aligned with your true self. You stop engaging in relationships, situations, and environments that don't serve you. You stop allowing people to treat you in ways that don't honor your value. This shift in mindset allows you to make room for the people and opportunities that truly resonate with who you are at your core. Self-worth is about recognizing that you are deserving of respect, love, and kindness, not because of anything you do, but because of who you are. You don't need to beg for respect or chase after someone's love. When you know your worth, you create boundaries that protect your energy. You allow people to show you the respect and care you deserve, or you walk away from them. When you embrace your intrinsic worth, you stop measuring your value based on external circumstances or other people's actions. You stop looking for validation outside of yourself because you understand that you are already whole. You are enough, just as you are. And when you recognize this, you will find that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will come into your life without you having to chase after them. Your worth doesn't have to be earned, because it has always been yours. Detachment is one of the most powerful tools you can use in life, especially when it comes to freeing yourself from the constant need for validation and external approval. When you let go of the need to control outcomes and stop chasing after things, people, or results, you create a space where the right things, the right people, and the right opportunities can enter your life naturally. It's a paradox that many struggle to understand by letting go. you actually gain more. This concept of detachment isn't about abandoning your goals or desires, rather, it's about trusting that what is meant for you will come to you without force, manipulation, or desperation. In today's world, we are often taught to chase after what we want. From relationships to career success, we are conditioned to believe that we must push and strive constantly to get what we desire. But the truth is, the more we chase, the more we push away the things we truly want. Why? Because desperation is a powerful energy that repels what we seek. When we are attached to a specific outcome or fixated on a particular person, we are essentially sending out a signal of lack, of neediness. This energy is not attractive. It creates tension, anxiety, and a sense of urgency that pushes people and opportunities further away. On the other hand, is about releasing that sense of need. It's about trusting the process and having faith that what's meant for you will come to you in its own time. Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring or working toward your goals. It simply means you stop obsessing over the outcome. You stop clinging to a specific person, situation, or result, and instead allow the universe to bring you what's in alignment with your highest good. This shift in mindset is powerful because it frees you from the mental and emotional strain of constantly trying to control everything. When you detach, you create a sense of space in your life, space for new opportunities, space for growth, and space for peace. When we are constantly attached to an outcome or someone's approval, we are filling up that space with anxiety, worry, and frustration. We become so focused on the end result that we lose sight of the present moment, of the beauty of the journey. Detachment allows us to stay grounded in the present, where we can appreciate what we already have, while still keeping our eyes open for what's next. The power of detachment also lies in the fact that it helps you cultivate a deep sense of self-reliance. You stop relying on external sources for validation and start looking within. You realize that your worth is not determined by how others see you or whether your efforts immediately bear fruit. When you no longer depend on the approval of others, you free yourself from the anxiety of seeking it. This internal validation is far more powerful than anything anyone else can give you, because it is unshakable. When you let go of the need for validation, you become more authentic. You begin to make decisions based on what feels right to you, rather than what others think or expect. You stop making choices to please others or to fit into someone else's mold. Instead, you begin to live from a place of true alignment with your values, your purpose, and your desires. This authenticity is magnetic. It draws people toward you who resonate with your true self, rather than the version of yourself that you were trying to portray in order to gain approval. Detaching from outcomes also allows you to cultivate patience. We live in an instant gratification world where we are used to getting what we want immediately, but not everything happens on our timeline. Sometimes the things we want most take time to materialize. When you detach, you release the pressure of trying to force things to happen. You allow things to unfold in their own time, trusting that the right people, situations, and opportunities will come to you when the time is right. This kind of patience is powerful because it removes the frustration and disappointment that often come when things don't happen according to our plans. The beauty of detachment is that it brings a sense of freedom. When you stop chasing after outcomes, you stop living in a constant state of fear and anxiety about what might happen. You let go of the worry that things might not turn out the way you hope. You stop holding on to things that are no longer serving you, whether that's a relationship, a job, or a situation that's causing you stress. In this freedom, you begin to feel lighter, more at ease. You are no longer weighed down by the need to control everything, and you begin to move through life with a sense of grace and confidence. Detachment also fosters a deeper connection to the present moment. When we are constantly fixated on a future outcome, we miss out on the richness of the now. We fail to appreciate the beauty and lessons that lie in the present moment. Detachment allows us to be fully present, to engage in life with a sense of curiosity and openness. When we are no longer attached to a specific result, we are able to see things more clearly, make better decisions, and find joy in the journey rather than just focusing on the destination. is not about giving up or losing interest in your desires. It's about trusting that the right things will come to you at the right time. It's about letting go of the need for validation and releasing your grip on outcomes. By doing so, you create space in your life for what truly matters. You stop chasing, and instead you begin to attract. The power of detachment lies in the freedom it brings: freedom from anxiety, from the need to control, and from the pressure to constantly prove yourself. When you let go, you open yourself up to receiving everything that is meant for you. Respect is the cornerstone of every meaningful relationship, and it's essential to recognize that true connections are founded on mutual respect, not manipulation, games, or seeking approval. Unfortunately, many people get caught in the cycle of seeking validation from others, often resorting to texting or engaging in behavior that comes from a place of desperation rather than self-assurance. But to build relationships that are truly fulfilling, it's crucial to break free from these patterns and understand the importance of respecting yourself and others. Respect begins with you. If you want to attract and nurture relationships that are built on a solid foundation, you must first respect yourself. This means acknowledging your own worth, recognizing your value, and setting boundaries that protect your time, energy, and emotions. When you truly respect yourself, you stop seeking approval from others, and you stop compromising your integrity or dignity to gain their attention. You know that your worth isn't dependent on someone else's opinion of you. Respect means honoring each other's feelings, desires, and boundaries. It means treating others with kindness, understanding, and empathy, and not manipulating them to get what you want. Many people, however, fall into the trap of playing games in their relationships. They text out of a sense of urgency, to fill a void, or to get a reaction. They may think that by being overly available or using certain tactics, they will be able to gain someone's affection or attention. But the truth is, these behaviors rarely result in genuine connections. Instead, they often create confusion, frustration, and distance. When you text out of desperation, you are signaling that you don't believe in your own worth. You're showing that you're willing to chase after validation and approval, which sets the tone for the relationship. People can sense when someone is not confident in themselves, and this often leads to a lack of respect. The more you chase, the less respect you earn. Relationships that are built on manipulation or approval seeking are shallow and unsatisfying. They lack the depth, trust, and understanding that come when both people honor and value each other equally. On the other hand, when you hold your ground and refuse to text out of desperation, you set the tone for a relationship built on true respect. This doesn't mean you should play hard to get or withhold communication as a form of manipulation. Instead, it means that you recognize that your time and energy are valuable, and you won't waste them on behaviors that don't align with your self-worth. When you respect yourself, you can engage in relationships with a sense of balance, knowing that you don't need to prove anything or chase after anyone. You are enough just as you are. Holding your ground also means setting clear boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are the guidelines that you establish to protect your emotional, mental, and physical space. When you respect yourself, you define what is acceptable and what isn't in your relationships. You don't allow anyone to manipulate or take advantage of you, and you don't engage in behaviors that undermine your own dignity. When both parties in a relationship respect each other's boundaries, there is a greater sense of trust, understanding, and emotional security. When respect is at the heart of a relationship, there's no need for games or manipulation. The need for validation fades because both people understand that their worth is inherent, not contingent on the other person's approval. There's a sense of mutual appreciation, where both individuals feel valued for who they are, not for what they can give or do for each other. Genuine connections are formed when people can be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection, knowing that the other person respects them for who they truly are. When you stop texting out of desperation and start respecting both yourself and the other person, you allow space for healthier communication. In a relationship built on respect, communication becomes clear, honest, and free of manipulation. You don't need to play games or send mixed signals because you can express your needs, desires, and feelings openly and directly. This honesty fosters trust, and trust is the bedrock of any lasting relationship. It's important to remember that respecting yourself doesn't mean being cold or distant. It doesn't mean ignoring someone or withholding affection. It means recognizing that you are worthy of being treated with dignity and kindness. When you hold your ground, you show others that you value yourself and your time. You also set a standard for how you expect to be treated in return. The respect you show yourself sets the example for how others should treat you. Relationships based on respect are the ones that stand the test of time. They are the ones where both people feel secure, valued, and loved without the need for constant reassurance or manipulation. When respect is the foundation, both individuals are able to grow and thrive independently while supporting each other in their journey. There's no need to chase, no need to beg for attention, and no need for constant approval. Instead, both people show up as their authentic selves, understanding that they deserve to be loved and appreciated for who they are, not for what they can do to please the other. So stop texting out of desperation. Stop seeking validation from others and start building relationships based on respect. Hold your ground and trust that the right people will come into your life when you stop chasing after those who don't recognize your value. When you respect yourself and others, you open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections that are rooted in mutual appreciation and understanding. These are the relationships that will bring you joy, fulfillment, and lasting happiness. When you stop seeking approval from others, you take a bold and empowering step towards personal freedom. Seeking constant validation from others is a habit that keeps you tethered to external expectations, causing you to lose sight of your own self-worth and identity. But when you decide to stop chasing after someone's approval, you send a powerful message: you are confident in who you are, and you don't need anyone's validation to feel complete. This shift in mindset is transformative and has the potential to change your life in profound ways. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to seek approval from others. Whether it's from our parents, teachers, peers, or even society, we're often told that our value is tied to how others perceive us. We learn to measure our self-worth by how much love, attention, or recognition we receive from outside sources. As we grow older, this pattern becomes ingrained, and we find ourselves constantly chasing after approval, whether it's through seeking praise at work, trying to fit into certain social circles, or altering our behaviors to please others. This constant need for validation only serves to undermine our sense of self. The more we chase after approval, the less we believe in our own worth. We start to depend on the opinions of others to determine how we feel about ourselves, and this creates an unstable foundation for our self-esteem. When someone praises us, we feel good, but when we don't receive the recognition we crave, we begin to doubt ourselves. This roller coaster of external validation is exhausting and ultimately leaves us feeling unfulfilled. The moment you decide to stop seeking approval is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. You start to realize that your worth isn't dependent on how others see you. It's intrinsic. It comes from within. You are already whole, already valuable, and already enough. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because your value isn't something that can be given or taken away by external forces. It's something that you define for yourself. This realization is liberating. It frees you from the constant pressure to conform or to chase after the approval of others. You no longer feel the need to please people just to feel good about yourself. Instead, you focus on what truly matters, staying true to who you are, following your own path, and making decisions based on your values and desires, not based on the approval or opinions of others. When you stop seeking approval, you begin to make choices that align with your authentic self. You no longer feel the need to compromise your integrity or change who you are to fit into someone else's expectations. Whether it's in your personal relationships, your career, or your social circles, you start to embrace your individuality and trust your own judgment. You know that you don't need to seek external validation to feel validated. The confidence that comes from this realization allows you to live authentically and unapologetically. This shift in perspective also empowers you to set healthier boundaries. When you no longer seek approval from others, you become less likely to tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your values. You stop saying yes to things that drain you or make you uncomfortable just to gain approval. Instead, you prioritize your well-being and make decisions based on what is best for you. By setting clear boundaries, you teach others how to treat you, and you create space for relationships and opportunities that are built on mutual respect and understanding. Furthermore, stopping the cycle of seeking approval enhances your mental and emotional well-being. When you no longer rely on external validation, you free yourself from the anxiety, stress, and uncertainty that come with constantly trying to please others. You stop living in a state of fear of judgment, fear of rejection, or fear of not being good enough. Instead, you begin to live from a place of inner peace, knowing that your value is not contingent on anyone else's approval. The confidence that arises from not seeking validation also increases your resilience. You become less affected by criticism or negative opinions because you no longer tie your self-worth to what others think of you. While constructive feedback can still be valuable, you no longer take it personally or allow it to define your sense of self. You understand that others' opinions are just that, opinions. They do not dictate your worth. When you stop chasing and begging for approval, you also create room for genuine relationships. Authentic connections are based on mutual respect and understanding, not on the need to impress or gain approval. By showing up as your true self, you attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. These are the relationships that are built on trust, support, and a deep sense of belonging. You no longer feel the need to perform or seek constant validation. Instead, you can simply be yourself and allow those who truly resonate with you to come into your life. One of the most powerful aspects of stopping the quest for approval is that it frees you to take risks and pursue your passions without fear of judgment. When you no longer care about what others think, you're able to follow your dreams with confidence, even if they don't align with societal expectations or the opinions of others. You stop playing it safe and start taking bold steps toward the life you truly want to create. This is where real growth happens, when you stop holding yourself back out of fear of not being approved. Stopping the search for approval is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It allows you to reclaim your power, strengthen your confidence, and live authentically. By no longer seeking validation from others, you create the freedom to make decisions that align with your values, set healthy boundaries, and build genuine relationships. Most importantly, you recognize that your worth is not determined by anyone else's opinion. It's something that comes from within. When you stop chasing approval, you finally step into the fullness of who you are, and that is where true fulfillment lies. Words hold immense power. They can inspire, motivate, heal, and connect us to one another. But despite their power, words alone mean very little without the force of action behind them. Far too often, people say the right things without ever following through. And while their words may sound convincing in the moment, they fail to create any lasting impact. True power lies not in what we say, but in what we do. When you pair your words with intentional, purposeful actions, you step into a space of authenticity and integrity that commands respect and fosters trust. The gap between words and actions is where people often get stuck. It's easy to say things that sound good, but actions speak louder than any verbal promise. Think about how many times you've heard someone say they'll change, or they'll do something for you, only for nothing to happen. How does that make you feel? Chances are, the words lose their meaning because they weren't backed by real effort or follow-through. When people speak without action, they undermine their own credibility and the strength of their relationships. The old saying, "Talk is cheap," exists for a reason. Words without action are just noise, empty and fleeting. To truly embody power, you must align your words with your actions. It's not enough to say you're going to do something. There must be tangible results that prove your commitment. This alignment between words and actions builds trust, which is one of the most valuable things in any relationship, whether personal or professional. Trust is built on consistency. When your actions match your words, you create an environment where others feel safe, valued, and respected. On the flip side, when there's a disconnect between what you say and what you do, you erode that trust and can leave others feeling disappointed, hurt, or even betrayed. The key to making your actions speak louder than your words lies in being intentional with what you do. Intentionality means being clear about your intentions and then acting on them with purpose. It means not saying things just because they sound good, but because you genuinely believe in them and are committed to following through. Intentional actions have weight. They communicate to the world that you are not someone who takes promises lightly or who operates based on impulse. Every move you make is aligned with your values and your deeper sense of purpose. This level of intentionality also requires accountability. It's easy to say things, but it's much harder to follow through on them. When you speak with purpose and then act with purpose, you hold yourself accountable for the outcomes. This means taking responsibility for the promises you make and owning up to your actions, good or bad. When you make a commitment, it's not just a verbal promise, it's a commitment to act. And when you fall short, true power lies in acknowledging that and making the necessary adjustments. When you take action, you're also demonstrating your dedication to your words, which sets you apart from those who only speak without substance. The world is full of talkers, people who will tell you what they plan to do, how they'll help, how they'll improve, but never actually make it happen. The true leaders and difference makers are those who can translate their words into action and are consistently striving to improve the world around them. They let their results speak for themselves, and they understand that lasting change is built on what they do, not just what they say. Taking action means being willing to put in the effort, even when it's difficult. It means showing up when you don't feel like it, staying committed when things get tough, and doing the hard work required to make your words a reality. Words may inspire others to act, but it's your actions that set the example. When you consistently act with integrity, when you deliver on your promises, you motivate others to do the same. People are inspired not just by what you say, but by what you do. Your actions encourage others to take their own steps toward fulfillment, achievement, and growth. Action is the key to breaking free from inaction and stagnation. We all have goals, dreams, and desires, but it's easy to get caught up in overthinking or talking about them without ever making progress. This is where the power of action becomes clear. Taking that first step, however small, is often the hardest, but once you begin to act, momentum builds. Action creates forward movement, and with each step, you move closer to your goal. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect words and simply take action, even if you don't have all the answers. It's also essential to realize that taking action doesn't always mean making grand, sweeping gestures. Often it's the small, consistent actions that make the biggest impact over time. Whether it's showing up every day, putting in the effort, or being there for someone when they need it, these small actions accumulate to create significant change. The consistency of your actions over time speaks volumes, and this consistency is what earns you respect and builds trust. People will remember your actions long after your words fade away. To truly harness the power of action, you must also be aware of your mindset. Taking action requires a mindset that is driven by purpose, discipline, and focus. It means staying committed to your goals even when things don't go as planned. It requires resilience and the ability to learn from failures rather than giving up. When you cultivate a mindset that values action, you align your words with your deeds in a way that maximizes your impact on the world. Words without action are hollow and meaningless. If you want to step into true power, stop playing games with your words. Be intentional in everything you do. Let your actions be the proof of your commitment and the reflection of your values. When you live with integrity and consistently back up your words with purposeful action, you create trust, inspire others, and move closer to achieving your goals. True power is in the action you take, not in the words you speak. In a world full of chaos, negativity, and distractions, it's easy to get caught up in drama. The temptation to engage in conflicts, arguments, or manipulations often feels overwhelming. And before you know it, you're trapped in a cycle of emotional turmoil that drains your energy and peace of mind. But the truth is, you deserve peace, not drama. You deserve a life where balance and tranquility are the foundation, and where you are not constantly pulled into unnecessary conflicts or toxic situations. When you stop engaging in cycles of drama and manipulation, you open up space for peace to settle into your life, and the right people, those who truly resonate with your energy, will begin to respect and gravitate toward that calm presence. Drama is insidious. It often starts small, an offhand comment, a misunderstanding, or a misplaced word, and before long, it spirals into something far bigger than it ever needed to be. You may find yourself repeatedly drawn into arguments or conflicts that, deep down, you know are not worth your time or emotional investment. These cycles of drama drain you. They rob you of your energy, disrupt your sense of calm, and cause unnecessary stress. Over time, they create patterns of behavior that keep you stuck in a loop of tension and uncertainty. You may feel like you are constantly reacting, trying to put out fires. But the truth is, these fires are not your responsibility to extinguish. The first step in breaking free from these cycles is to recognize that you have a choice. You don't have to engage in every conflict, every argument, or every drama-filled situation that comes your way. You are not obligated to respond to manipulation, negativity, or petty games. You are in control of your emotional state, and you can choose how you react to the situations around you. When you decide to stop engaging in drama, you are taking back your power. You are no longer allowing others to dictate your emotional experience, and you are no longer allowing negativity to infiltrate your life. This doesn't mean you should avoid confrontation altogether or allow people to walk all over you. It means that you choose your battles wisely and approach situations with a mindset of calm and clarity. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to assess whether the situation is worth your time and energy. Is it a genuine issue that needs to be addressed? Or is it simply a distraction, a game that someone else is trying to pull you into? The more you recognize the difference, the easier it becomes to disengage from drama and stay focused on what truly matters. When you prioritize peace over drama, you are making a conscious decision to protect your mental and emotional well-being. You no longer tolerate situations that compromise your inner peace or disturb your sense of balance. You begin to set healthy boundaries that prevent others from dragging you into toxic situations or manipulating your emotions. It's essential to understand that not everyone is entitled to your time, attention, or energy. By learning to say no, you preserve your peace and protect yourself from unnecessary stress. This shift toward peace also involves letting go of the need for validation from others. Drama often arises when people seek attention, approval, or validation in unhealthy ways. Instead of seeking constant approval or needing to be right, you learn to be secure in yourself and your decisions. You trust your own judgment, and you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. When you stop engaging in cycles of drama, you stop chasing after external validation and start focusing on the internal sense of peace and satisfaction that comes from knowing you are enough just as you are. Another crucial aspect of creating peace in your life is surrounding yourself with people who respect your energy and value your boundaries. The right people, the ones who are aligned with your values and vision for your life, will support your desire for peace. They will respect your boundaries and will not try to drag you into unnecessary conflicts. These are the people who uplift you, encourage you, and bring positive energy into your life. When you stop participating in toxic drama, you clear the space for these types of relationships to flourish. You attract individuals who are also focused on growth, peace, and personal integrity, and who do not have time for petty games or manipulation. As you focus on creating peace, you'll find that your own energy shifts. Instead of reacting to situations with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, you begin to approach challenges with a sense of calm and resilience. This shift allows you to handle difficult situations more gracefully, without letting them throw you off balance. You'll be able to communicate more effectively, listen more attentively, and navigate conflict with a level-headed approach. As a result, you'll find that the people around you begin to respond to you differently. They'll notice your calm presence, and they'll start to respect your energy, recognizing that you are someone who chooses peace over drama. Creating peace in your life also involves taking care of your inner world. You must invest time in nurturing your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Practicing mindfulness, meditation, and self-care routines helps to strengthen your ability to stay calm in the face of adversity. The more you cultivate inner peace, the more it will radiate outward, attracting positive energy and people who resonate with your peaceful state of mind. When you choose peace, you also choose to let go of the need for control. Drama often stems from a desire to control people or situations, but the reality is that we cannot control the actions or behaviors of others. The only thing we can control is how we respond. By relinquishing the need for control and focusing on your own peace, you free yourself from the stress of trying to manage every situation and person around you. You begin to trust that everything will unfold as it's meant to, and that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way with grace and composure. You deserve peace, not drama. When you stop engaging in cycles of drama and manipulation, you reclaim your power and create space for calm, balance, and positivity in your life. By setting healthy boundaries, letting go of the need for validation, and surrounding yourself with supportive people, you can create an environment where peace thrives. As you cultivate inner peace, you attract the right energy into your life, people who respect and appreciate the tranquility you bring. Choose peace and watch how your life transforms. In conclusion, embracing a life of no begging, no chasing, no texting, and no games is a powerful decision to reclaim your peace and self-worth. When you stop seeking validation from others and stop engaging in toxic cycles, you create space for real, meaningful connections based on mutual respect. By detaching from outcomes and focusing on your own inner strength, you begin to attract the right energy into your life. You deserve peace, not drama, and by choosing to protect your energy, you empower yourself to live a life of intention and balance. The more you focus on yourself and act from a place of confidence, the more you'll see the positive shifts in your relationships and in your own personal growth. Thank you for listening. Stay true to yourself, hold your ground, and remember you are enough.